you describe your experience in college and work if possible?
Yes. So as she said, like I studied chemical engineering, and my experience in engineering school, for me, it was actually really fun. A lot of people said that you have to work a lot, and you do, you have to put a lot of time into it, but it is really fun. We work in really cool projects, that you don't imagine at first that you are actually going to do stuff like that. And, for example, like we get to like design stuff and then 3D print it and, do cool things in the lab. So it was really interesting. Then as a work experience, actually, I've done more of like research experience, and there's a lot of cool programs that you can do while you're doing your undergrad. For example, I went to school at the University of Connecticut, but I got to do research at Princeton University, and then another summer I did research in the Czech Republic. So like, it was all paid, and I went to the Czech Republic. So it's like really cool because you're doing research, but also you're having fun and doing other things. If you want to go to graduate school, for example, if you want to get your PhD, like I'm doing, you have, for me, my advice is for you to do research so you can see like, oh, is this actually what I want to do? Also try to do internships so you can explore like the different industries where you can work. Because as a chemical engineer, I can work in different industries. For example, I can work doing makeup, but also I can work in NASA. It's just like very broad.
Another question. When did you know that you wanted to pursue a STEM career? Did you know that from a younger age or from college?
Yes. So I left when I took algebra for the first time. I think I was like in 8th grade. I don't remember, but I really liked math. It was like, oh, this is fun. I liked doing all the problems. And then when I was in high school as well, I did like chemistry, physics. So, at that moment when I had to decide for a major, I was like, okay, like it has to be something science related or math related because I really like it. How do you do internships?
Oh yeah, I think we see.
Yeah. So same, like as I was saying, attend the job fairs when you're a college undergraduate. Attend the job fairs because sometimes they come and they're not only offering jobs for seniors, they're also offering jobs for like the internships. And when you apply, it's better to have that connection because so many people apply. Then how are you gonna be unique, different? But like if you already made the connection beforehand and you tell them like, I'm gonna apply, like remember my name, right? So when you apply, it's gonna be better. Also you can find them speaking with your college advisors or even your friends, like trying to be alert on when you have to apply to do the internships. And I will advise you to apply to more than one because sometimes it's hard to get just one. So like always apply to like different programs for a summer so you have options in case you get rejected, which is completely normal. There's so many
Question here is it difficult to find a job after graduating with a chemical engineer degree?
I feel that as an engineer, it's easier to find a job because everyone needs an engineer and you can apply to different industries. It's like very broad. And like being an engineer, it's impressive. So like, I feel like it's gonna be kind of easier.
When did you know that you wanted to pursue a STEM career? Did you know that from a younger age or from college?
Yes. So I left when I took algebra for the first time. I think I was like in 8th grade. I don't remember, but I really liked math. It was like, oh, this is fun. I liked doing all the problems. And then when I was in high school as well, I did like chemistry, physics. So, at that moment when I had to decide for a major, I was like, okay, like it has to be something science related or math related because I really like it. How do you do internships?
Oh yeah, I think I will see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same, like as I was saying, attend the job fairs and when you're a college undergraduate, attend the job fairs because sometimes they come and they're not only offering jobs for seniors, they're also offering jobs for like the internships. And when you apply, it's better to have that connection because so many people apply. Then how are you gonna be unique, different? But like if you already made the connection beforehand and you tell them like, I'm gonna apply, like remember my name, right? So when you apply, it's gonna be better. And then so like the internships, also you can find them speaking with your college advisors or even your friends, like trying to be alert on when you have to apply to do the internships. And I will advise you to apply to more than one because sometimes it's hard to get just one. So like always apply to like different programs for a summer so you have options in case you get rejected.
Is it difficult to find a job after graduating with a chemical engineer degree?
So I actually just graduated with my degree. So I graduated during a pandemic, which is harder, right? Because like the economy was bad.
Yeah.
But I didn't go through that because I applied to my PhD and I knew that I was going to start my PhD. So I didn't need to find a job. But for my friends, it's a process. At least my close friends, like my three best friends from college, the three of them got a job. And I feel that as an engineer, it's easier to find a job because everyone needs an engineer and you can apply to different industries. It's like very broad.
How was like the experience of women in STEM or specifically engineering?
So in my major, there were actually more girls than expected. I feel like there are less girls in mechanical engineering, for example, but I was in chemical engineering and I don't know why, like there are more girls in that major. But yeah, it's it's definitely harder in some senses because sometimes guys don't believe in you. They think that because of the way you look, people will tell me like, oh, do you study, I don't know, communications or, because of the way I dress. And I was like, no, I study engineering. And they're like, oh my God, like, people don't believe in you sometimes. So sometimes you have to prove yourself more as a Latina. I also experienced that, like there was only one more Latina in my class and there's so little, like the percentage of Latinas in STEM, I think as you were saying, it's so low. But at the end of the day, I try to use that, like my uniqueness as my strength. And I started finding, scholarships specifically for Latinas in STEM or programs that were trying to help Latinos in STEM.
Do you have any tips for like keeping our mental health in check while we are focusing on school?
Yes, definitely, because I went through this and it's very easy to forget, especially for you guys. I feel like going to high school in the United States, it's a different experience. People is very worried about where they're gonna go after they graduate, like what school they're gonna go, and like you guys work a lot, so take breaks to start because some people think that when you take a break you're being unproductive or you're being lazy, but actually you're like regaining energy and you're gonna work better and give more, like accomplish more if you take the breaks and do something fun for you. Like having fun, it's not bad. You really need to like differentiate that. You don't have to be working all the time. You work, but then you take a break.
Speaking of organization, do you have any time management techniques or things you do or tell yourself to overcome procrastination?
Yeah, so one thing that I do is that I schedule my time for everything that I do in my life. Like I have my calendar on my iPhone, and also I can see it in my laptop, and I schedule everything. And even if I don't follow it, 100%, that I still know kind of like what I can accomplish in a day. And I have my to-do list, and I'm like, like I know, okay, like today I can accomplish these things. And
How did you balance between having a job and school?
yes, so I had a job. So when I always had a job and then went to school actually full time. And I think that because I always did it, I got used to it. And like because I started at a community college and classes are more flexible there. So I will work during the day, and then in the afternoon I will take classes. And it was just like I got used to it, to like do all those things. And then over the weekends I will do things for fun. And that's how like I keep regaining my energy.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I had a question actually, if it's okay. Also, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm sorry if this is redundant in any way, but is there like anything you look forward to working on in the future with your job, like any projects or anything of that sort?
So yeah, it's not redundant at all. So the reason why I'm doing my PhD is because I want to be a professor. That was my main goal. And I do like doing research, but I love teaching more. And I've done it since I'm like in high school. Like my friends will ask me to help them understand math or stuff like that. And I work as a tutor, and it was always so much fun. So I can't wait to be a professor, to have my own class and teach it in a fun way. Because
Can you describe your experience in college and work?
Yeah, and feel free to ask any more specifics on that. It feels very broad, but I'll tell you, in college, I kind of went through identifying what I wanted to do and so on. I actually initially wanted to be an accountant, and then I changed to marketing. And then eventually, towards my junior year, I started to focus on something I really loved, which was computer science. I didn't graduate with a computer science degree. It was a minor. I did graduate with a business administration, a bachelor. And then I did take a minor in management information systems, which at the time, this is the late 90s, it was that bridge between business and computer science.
So how did you get hired by Google?
Yeah, good question. Right out of college, I was in tech support at a company that was doing debit card processing systems in Florida. Debit cards are like bank cards and things like that. So Visa, MasterCard, and things like that. And I got really good at identifying what the users are going through tech support. And I started to do my own coding, which got the interest of the engineering department. So I got hired there within the same company. And then I kind of just moved my way up in the company, just being curious and finding out a little bit more about how to code and what the user experience was. Eventually, I moved to New York, and I started working for a company called DoubleClick, which was an ads platform company. And that company was associated with Google at the time. Google bought the company, and I went through an interview at Google to be a program manager.
How did you find like the motivation out? Did you feel discouraged, or did you feel dismotivated through your journey, because it's a really long one?
Yeah, and I think no matter what happens with understanding your own journey, you really have to have confidence in yourself and really double down on the interest that you have, right? So that's like the best advice. You really have to keep asking yourself, are you happy doing this, what you're doing, right?
So what do you like the best about your job, or the least?
Okay, the least, let's see, the least is sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes, you realize that, the projects you're working on affect billions of people worldwide. There's a lot of pressure there involved. You know, the best part of working for Google is the projects and the people that we work with, right? We work with amazing people. And the projects, impact the world immediately, right? So everything that we're working on affects billions of people. We work on very large problems, and the solutions are very, very big as well. So it's constantly exciting. It's very interesting. There's not a day that goes by that I'm like less interested in the project, right?
So what is your most favorite project that you completed?
There's been many. I mentioned before the place busyness. That was interesting. So if you're on Maps and you look up a restaurant or something like that, and you can tell like the busyness, like how busy this restaurant is during this time. I worked on that project. That was really, really cool.
What does your daily life look like?
Yeah, it's a lot of meetings and a lot of planning, right? So it's usually my personal thing is about, my first thing is I check my emails during the day and so on and see what the tasks are for the rest of the week. A lot of spreadsheet management, a lot of doc management, a lot of reading docs, a lot of writing docs, a lot of meetings, following up with people, on different aspects of the project and see where things are going.
So how do you manage your work life and your personal life?
So for me personally, I like to work, I guess actively around 10 to roughly around 6. But it's all flexible. You can take, time out during the day. I'm able to do this now because it's very flexible. So I balance it that way. I just, lay out the week or two ahead saying, and I use calendar religiously. So I just go through and I block off pieces of my calendar where, folks can reach me and folks can't reach me. So I can, organize my day that way. And as far as personal time, I have kids as well, and they're at home remote learning. So I've just set up like different office spaces within my purview so I could see what their needs are, and I could just do a pause break to help them out and then come back to my desk and stuff.
Did you do any internships at college or?
No. So my story is not very, if I have to do it again, yes, I would definitely do those things and highly recommend, internships and kind of career forward looking. For me, no, the last 2 years I actually worked through college. I had a job as well and I was working through.
Do you provide the answers to our questions on Google?
No, well, yeah, yes and no. So Google doesn't, there's not a man or a woman behind the curtain answering questions. It's all done algorithmically through web crawls and things like that. So the project I'm working on now is, civics or any kind of government, searches. So if you do searches on unemployment benefits or food stamps or, driver's license and things like that, that page that you get back, that's kind of the project that we're working on. And what we do is we group together types of information that we feel like the user would value, and we organize that page. But again, the content is coming from the internet, from the web, right? So we're not.
What would you like to achieve in your life at working at Google? Have you accomplished it?
Google's mission has always been to organize the world's information to make it universally accessible and useful. And I love that mission because it's in every product that we do, right? So right now I'm on search, but before that, on location and things like that, it's a lot of information around the world to organize. And I feel like it's a goal that's almost never met because it's ever growing and ever changing. So as much as we can get close to that goal of organizing all this information, that would make me feel very, very good.
Do you get to travel around with working in Google?
I did prior to COVID, yes. Yeah, not so much anymore. And I think, and that's unfortunate because we do have offices all over the world. It's always nice to go to a different office and to see what that culture is like and so on. I've been to, Japan, Spain, on the West Coast, of course, and Germany and so on. Yeah, and it's truly amazing because you get a sense of what that culture is like and the problems they're solving there, which is very different from what we're dealing with here.
Did you apply at multiple positions in Google?
No. I applied for the technical program manager, and this is, but so once you're in, there's a difference between the role or position that you're applying for versus the team that you're working on. So Google has many, many teams, many different aspects. So the role is technical program manager, but with that role now you can move on to different teams, right? So that's the beauty of it. So at the time it was on the ads platform that I was interested in, that I was working on. But then from there I moved to different teams, but the same.